Film Slice Crew review Captain Marvel
Captain Marvel
versus Captain Feathersword.
Oh, I forgot we're doing a thing. Back on the Marvel train. Here we are.
Hey team, Megas Record here and welcome to the Film Slice Podcast. I'm here as always with my co-host Kane Diggly Wiggly Kane Dogs.
Hi, I'm here.
And the man formerly known as Brody Ledoux Broadman Richards.
And is
And
now
this week,
known as...
Look. Alright, so here is Look.
No.
Super. This week we are reviewing Captain Marvel.
Captain Gravel. Brody could be Captain Gravel.
We're reviewing Captain Marvel this week. Kane Dogs, hit us up with that IMDb summary.
IMDb summary.
Are we really not naming Brody? Yes.
His name's Look. Captain Look.
Carol Danvers
What?
becomes one of the universe's most powerful heroes when Earth is caught in the middle of a galactic war between two alien races.
And might I just say, you are very enthusiastic today.
Yeah, look, I visited Brody last night, and then I left. I left his place quite late last night to drive home, and then it turns out there was an accident on the only road that took me home, so I was turned away. And then I sat in a park for a whole bunch of time, waiting for this podcast to start. I'm really tired, and my enthusiasm
Jordan, we've told you many times we don't record in the park anymore. Okay? We used to. It was a bad idea. Stop going to the park.
Work.
Well, if Brody had
Really
answered
didn't
his
work.
phone, then I wouldn't have had to sit in a park for that long.
Look. Thoughts?
Great. Moving on.
Alright.
This is the best starting to the podcast that has ever been.
Alright, Captain Marvel, that's right, we're reviewing Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Thanks for that IMDb summary right there. Let's move on into our first segment. When did you see the movie? What do you think?
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
When did you see the movie, what do you think?
I saw it on Thursday morning, and I thought it was pretty good. I'm not really a fan of all-powerful characters, but I liked everything around that. Thought it was not the best Marvel film, not the worst Marvel film. Thor, the second one, shit. Sorry, there was a cough after that sentence of me saying that Thor was really shitty. Yeah, definitely not the worst one, but yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, nice. K-Dogs.
I also saw it yesterday morning.
Ooh.
And Saturday morning, and I thought it was fine. I think within the Marvel collective of films, it probably sits somewhere in the middle, maybe on par with like a Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, but I have a few little nitpicks and problems with the character. As Brody pointed out, just very OP, so we'll get there.
Yeah.
But I thought it was fine. Enjoyed it.
Nice one. I also saw it yesterday. Look at me go, lads.
You didn't see it this morning.
I didn't see it this morning.
Wow,
I am
that's
so proud of
actually
you.
surprising.
Yeah. So
You're
I've
lying,
forgotten the
though.
film.
You're definitely lying.
So did you see it before you went for a nice little walk?
No, I saw it after the walkie walk, but before the lots of drinks.
So for those who don't know, Angus is incredibly obese and only gets out to do a few steps maybe once or two times a year.
Yeah.
And yesterday was one of the days he walked
That's it.
from the
Took-
bedroom to the
took 5
kitchen and
steps.
back.
Yep. Didn't even need a wheel.
How's the physiotherapy
That's how I
going?
get around.
On
a wheel.
A singular wheel.
Single wheel.
Yeah.
How does that work?
I tell you what, that unicycle is looking pretty rough.
Yeah, it's an innie.
It's an itty. I thought the movie was also fine. I remember really enjoying it, but then when I was trying to think of like the positives of the film, I couldn't quite remember any. So it's like one of those films where you're like, yeah, it's enjoyable, but there's nothing really standoutish about it. But it does kind of open up the door to some more of the cinematic universe, which is interesting because, you know, it's quite big at the moment. It's getting bloody bigger.
I'm not sure it actually opened as many doors that weren't previous. I mean, all the doors that were open in this movie, for example, like the Kree and all the space sort of stuff, really already existed thanks to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but the whole... I guess we'll get into it.
Yep.
I won't bloody spoil it right
We bloody will.
Lads, you know how every week I put up on Instagram and not Twitter because who does Twitter? What movie we're reviewing, and I ask our slicey slicers out there what they thought of the film. And normally no one replies.
Correct?
Well,
This week I'm going to guess 6.
alright.
I think Brody's maybe being a bit too kind. I'm going to say 7.
Okay.
We got 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5.
Oh, jeez.
Close. It'd almost be 6 if there was a reply in there.
This sounds awfully like Brody has done his research.
Oh, there is a reply.
Oh, I won.
Not only did you win, you're also a dick.
Wow.
All right, so we've got 6 comments. Wait, that's
Hey.
almost a record, I reckon.
That's pretty great.
That's pretty bloody. All right, obviously, Marvel films do well, then all the other
It's
films.
the
we
only
review.
reason I'm,
All
it's
the-
the only
all
other
the
reason
other
I'm doing the
films we see.
podcast. It's the only reason I'm here.
All right, let's fire through these super quick. This is from not.filmslice host. He said, listen to the last podcast and that Jordan bloke is a bit of a dick.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Not.filmslice.host.
Do we even? Oh, right. Hold on. Has Brody come up with? Has Brody invented an entire Instagram page just so that he can comment things on our?
No,
Have you gone and made your own Instagram account just so you can troll me on our Instagram account?
That's the best part. Is
Oh,
that it still
you've
has my
just
full
made-
name on it.
What's great is I saw you take that picture maybe 10 minutes ago. So you've just set up an Instagram account for that sole purpose.
Oh, it's not me. It says not.filmslice.host. So it's not one of us.
Alright,
That's
so
to be sure.
but looking at this guy's Instagram, like really interesting bloke. So definitely follow not.filmslice.host. Let's try and get his followers up. Next one is from.
If he gets more followers than me, I'll be very annoyed.
Next
Oh,
one.
please let someone please follow not.
Honestly, though,
.filmslice.host.
before I realized it was you, I was like, is there someone out there that's just really trolling me for no reason?
It's not me. It says not Film Slice host. I'm one of the hosts, so it can't be me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Are you, though?
Look.
Anyway, moving on.
You're right.
I am right. Thank you.
And when I'm right, I'm right.
All right, the next one is from Hamzasik Pasik or Hamzakik. Pakik?
You've pronounced Hans Zimmer wrong.
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. Yep, that's
Yep.
right.
Ham Zimmer says, what can I say? This movie succeeds at leaving you in the dark until halfway through the movie. Happy crying face. However, did a good job of establishing the first authentically dynamic female hero on silver screen, which is refreshing to see. I hated the occasionally forced humor set upon the audience, as this is DC's way of boring theirs. However, some of their jokes were genuinely humorous. An alien fucking cat, all in capitals, cat emoji, alien emoji, cat emoji, alien emoji, cat emoji.
Emojis really don't translate well to audio-based podcasts, do
Don't they?
No.
I quite like them.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
All right, this is next one is from long-time listener Connor Kelly,
Got it.
our bloody legend, Connor.
Wait, so we
K
didn't lose him? Because
177.
last time we apologized to him.
We did. I hope he has accepted the apology. Let me read on.
Okay.
I really enjoyed most of it. He hasn't talked about it.
He
at
hasn't.
all.
He hasn't
Never
mentioned the apology.
He's completely ignored it.
He said, I really enjoyed most of it. I love the twist that subverted the expectations of comic readers. Brie Larson was good, but I thought Sam Jackson was a standout, and their chemistry was amazing. Visuals were excellent as usual, but that mid-credit scene, clap emoji, 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 clap emoji.
Finishing it off with a final clap emoji.
Yeah. And then a
See,
reply.
emojis work in audio
There's
form.
there's a real poetry to how you write.
I guess we could have just done this.
I mean, we could have done that, but it wouldn't
But,
have. It wouldn't have seemed as authentic.
Nah.
And Connor goes on to reply to his own post, saying, only slight problem is that she needs to be nerfed to make the conflict more believable. Even when she goes full power in this movie, these action scenes almost have less impact because it's not even a challenge. They need to find a way to balance that for Endgame. But I trust the Russos to do that, and I can't wait to see her interact with all the others.
Yep. Very
Yeah,
fair.
I have a lot to say
point.
about her as a character being introduced to the MCU in terms of that, so I'll talk about that a bit later on.
I'm sure we'll hit
But yeah,
that. Yep.
I'm on the same note as Connor in this one.
All right, this is from Katie Rose 6. She says, I think it introduced her really well in terms of introductory movies. It was a lot more entertaining than some of the others we have seen recently. Cough, Aquaman, cough. Love Baby Nick and Baby Coulson, and especially, spoiler, crying face. But some of the humor was quite forced. leaves you wondering if there is any limit to her powers
Are you
as
also
at this
reading
point,
it?
or looks like she could just pick up Thanos up and punt him across the universe.
Yep.
Keen to see how she interacts with the others, especially with Black Widow, as she currently has the strong, sarcastic female member of the gang covered, and Marvel are historically terrible at being able to focus on having more than one woman in the room at any given time. Yes, Scarlet Witch is there, but do they really actually interact? No. Overall, I enjoyed it, but mainly for the potential it has. All right, and our final comment is from Mike is Nerdy. He said, best Stan Lee cameo yet.
Crying face, laughing,
Laughing, crying face, and then
emoji, and then just full on crying face
bowling,
emoji.
crying face emoji.
Yep.
Boom. So, yeah, there you go. That's what our Slicey Slices thought of this week. Cane Dogs, anyone hit you up on Facey Face?
Yeah, we got a few.
Facey book.
So this is going to be our whole podcast from now on. We're just going to read out comments that we get.
Look, it's the first podcast that'll be that. All right. So on Facebook, Kirby Hines. It's no Guardians of the Galaxy, but I thought it was a decent origin story for a character who a lot of people don't really know about. Just a bit of backstory so it can make Avengers Endgame a lot better. Let's have Nathan Clinic, who says, was a little disappointed she is way OP, overpowered. There is no way to gauge her limit. Another issue is when she sees Stan Lee. She doesn't smile at him and it lingers too long. I get the point of it, but 5 years from now, no one is going to remember this was the first film released after his death. It's just going to seem weird. Lastly, I was able to predict every twist before they even set it up. It was way too easy to predict. Awesome job making Samuel L. Jackson look so young though. His age definitely showed during the fight scene in a filing room when he couldn't move around as much as needed. And then he goes on to say in another comment, F you, Jordan. Oh. Okay.
Very good.
So I disagree with everything Nathan said.
All right, and that's what our Slicey Slices thought of Captain Marvel. Let's smash through these non-spoilers because I feel like we've got a lot of stuff to say in spoilers. So, Cane Dogs, would you recommend it? Who would you recommend it to?
Yes, anyone that's following the Marvel train, get on the carriage.
Super. Broadman, would you recommend it? Who'd you recommend it to?
I would think it's a good flick to go and see. Action-packed and whatnot. It's a Marvel movie.
Excellent. All right.
Way to read that with gusto.
Yep.
I also would recommend it to anyone that likes Marvel movies. This is good. All right.
This is good.
Let's move on.
This is a watch. This is a watch.
Yeah, watch
Yeah,
it.
definitely watch it. All right, anything to say before we head on into spoilers? Not really. I think most of those comments covered a lot
Yeah, no,
of
I
it.
think we're good.
And we're definitely going to dive deep into it right after this short spoiler alarm.
No. Spoiler alarm. You do this every time. No.
No, that's he's dying.
Oh.
Somebody get the ambulance.
I can wait.
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
All right, we are in the spoiler section where we dissect and divulge everything about the film. Good luck to you all on your missions, should you choose to accept it. Any cinema dicks, just to start off with?
A lot of kids in my cinema, they were dicks, but nah, nothing.
Nice one, Broadman.
Didn't see it with Jordan. He's a dick.
Excellent.
Oh.
I had
This is really, really hurting.
I had
Yeah.
a bunch of dicks behind me that were just kind of talking over everything and commenting on everything, especially
Yep.
like right at the start with the Stan Lee tribute, which I thought
Yep.
was like really
That was really
heartfelt.
cool, yeah.
They were laughing at it, which I found a bit maybe disrespectful, but that's okay. And also there was something else, but I can't remember it. So we're moving on.
Okay, my favorite part, I gotta say, seeing young Coulson Young,
It was a really fun buddy
Nick
cop
Fury.
film.
I was confused. Does Coulson have hair in the original ones?
Yeah.
Or doesn't
Yeah.
he? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought for some reason he was bald, and then I was trying to imagine him without hair, and I got really confused because it didn't look right. But now we know.
No.
Look. Continue.
He...
Why do you keep saying look?
His
My
name's
name!
Luke.
Dick? Jeez, doesn't even know my name.
Oh.
Yeah, I really like seeing them. I thought it was cool. It also makes me interested in if like they ever make another film set back, because they did a pretty good
Yeah.
job at making everything set back. I don't know, in the 90s, I think it was.
Yeah. It was blockbuster era.
Yeah. So I really liked going back, and I thought most of that was pretty cool, and I think that was my favorite part.
Nice. Game Dogs. Most positive thing about the film.
So originally I thought I'm not going to like Captain Marvel too much because I'm a bit... You know, I'm just going to restart. I really enjoyed Captain Marvel's personality. I thought she was really likable, quirky, goofy, and funny. And that's what I wanted from this character.
Yeah.
Sort of after Wonder Woman and Black Widow and all of that, I'm a bit sick of just getting female characters where they're quite two-dimensional, and the only reason they're in the film is because we cast a female.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy that they put an effort into making her actually really likable. So that's probably my biggest positive, is that I was totally on board with her character. So all the other problems that I have around the film were sort of extinguished a bit because I liked her.
Rogue One, Animal Kingdom, The Dark Knight, Ready Player One. What do they all have in common?
You forgot The Hood.
And The Hood, and a lot of other films. But what do they have in common?
They're films.
Robin Hood.
No.
Oh, archery.
Mendo.
Cameras. They're all shot on cameras.
Oh, Mentos.
Mentos. They all have fresh breath.
They all have soundtracks.
No.
Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn. That's right. Ben Mendelsohn, and Mendo is the bad guy. In this film, they subvert his demeanor to actually being a good guy, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was really clever that they chose, I think it was great casting that they chose someone that has, in the last maybe 6 or 7 movies that he's done,
Played the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To kind of work with that twist of having actually he's not the bad guy kind of thing.
You know what really adds to that twist as well, though, is notoriously Marvel films, with the exception of maybe Black Panther. Arguably, some people disagree, but I think Marvel villains have always been the least sort of interesting part of the film.
Yep.
So
Jordan hates Thanos. You heard it here first.
So having a Marvel villain that sort of becomes a good guy and having an interesting story arc that you empathize with is really impressive for a Marvel film.
Definitely.
That isn't at the scale of it.
Yeah.
Infinity War.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think that was definitely my favorite thing, was the swap and the use of Mendo and Aussie. I'm not sure if I like it or not, but a lot of the Skrulls had an Australian accent. I don't know if you noticed that, but
they all had some.
They all had
there
Aussie
were
accents.
various different accents as well.
Yeah,
It was really...
except for the wife. I think the wife still had an American accent at the end of it,
Yeah, fair
but she
enough.
didn't actually say it. But I thought that was cool that they're actually introducing different accents as well.
Yeah.
Because they
we
live
did
on a
New
different
Zealand.
world.
New Zealand worked well for them in Thor Ragnarok. So
This is true. Yeah, yeah. Hi, I'm cool.
Jordan.
This is me.
The Skrulls in the comics actually do take over worlds and shit, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So they
They're
just
meant-
completely swish it in this film.
So it's still been not entirely revealed, but people are still pretty certain that the Skrulls will be the villains for the next decade. So I think this is setting up for the Skrulls to generally be a decent race, but for one or two of them to go bad and lead another generation of Skrulls.
In the comic
okay.
books, it's kind of there's just two sides. There's not really a good side and a bad side.
In the comic,
there's-
in the comic books, it's an entire race, and they're not all evil. So the idea is that there are, as you said, there are factions that happen within Skrulls. The problem is that you don't need a lot of them for them to be quite detrimental to taking over a planet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's it. Other positives that I had written down, because obviously I'd forget. Cat I've written. I like the cat. It's good.
that's one of my negatives.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should bloody head on over to the negative side. Bloody jump the fence and bloody head on over to the bloody nigger side.
You're a bloody marshal.
Look, it's not my main negative, but whilst we're here,
Yeah.
Nick Fury's entire character is largely built around it's Samuel L. Jackson, but he has an eye patch. Mm-hmm. I'm really disappointed. I knew it was coming going into the film when he picked up the cat. He's like, I trust you, Cap. Because I remember in Winter Soldier, he's like, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. I'm like, please don't tell me that. Not only is
It's
his
a cat.
character two-dimensional, and the only thing he has going for him is that he has an eye patch, which makes it somewhat interesting. But now the way he got that is a cat that's seamlessly been able to tell good from bad the whole film for no reason, just decides to gouge at his eye because it'll be a funny gimmick. It's really annoying that the entire base of Nick Fury losing his eyes because a cat scratched his eye out because it'll be kind of funny.
It feels just like a cop out. They'll
It does, yeah.
oh, let's just put this in. It's it's such a 10-second joke.
that shouldn't have impacted
Just
this
undermines
much.
the whole character.
Well, Winter Soldier-
It completely changes everything about it. Oh, it's
So
just
Captain America Winter
disappointing.
Soldier being one of my favorite MCU films delves quite deep into the fact that Nick Fury had a past. He was a soldier. He clearly was betrayed by someone. He's like, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. That's why I am the way I am. That's how they explain it. They're like, look, he's crazy and secretive, because he clearly had a partner that betrayed him. But nah, in this movie, it wasn't that he had a partner that betrayed him or any of that. Just a space cat or something
cat.
for no reason scratched at his eye, even though there's literally a scene in this movie where he holds the cat up to attack some bad guys, and the cat is able to tell that they're Skrulls and they're actually good guys. The cat could tell that, but also the cat would just scratch at his eye for no reason. And also, he doesn't seem that phased. Like, apparently he was scratched to the point where his eye doesn't work, and he was like, ah.
Yeah.
And they're like, how's the eye? He's like, it hurts a bit. What are you talking about? You've lost an eye.
Yeah.
So that's one of my negatives.
It was a very disappointing moment. It was like one of those things where like, oh, that's pretty funny. Oh, that's really disappointing.
Yeah.
My other negative is...
It would have been so much better if he completely healed from it.
Yeah.
Once again, subverting
So...
what you
There's
think.
there's a terrible movie called Hot Tub Time Machine, and one of the things is there's a guy who's missing an arm, and they go back in time using a time machine. It's the whole thing, and a lot of the gags in that movie is waiting for that guy to lose an arm, and he's doing really dangerous shit, like he's juggling chainsaws, and they're like, is this where it... And this movie felt a lot of me being like, is this where he loses the eye?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
this where he loses the eye? But the fact that's he lost it because of the cat really pissed me off. The other problem I have is I don't think there's many people in the cinema. I'm going to assume you guys weren't at all surprised when Jude Law was the bad guy, because I picked him to be the bad guy within the opening scene.
Well,
Yeah.
I knew it before the film started because I'm one of the few people who watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show.
Right.
And a lot of that TV show is about how the Kree are bad people. So,
I mean-
so it's like when they were like, oh, and then she joined the Kree, I was like, aren't the Kree evil?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and so-
well,
so
I
it's
mean,
just like-
Ronan is the bad guy in Guardians of the Galaxy, but
And so like, so I was
was
like, that was not a surprise at all.
going on that, in the comics, she is Kree, and so is Jude Law's character, but in the comics, he's a good guy. So,
Okay.
I think they were trying to bank that. People have seen the comics and they think that he's going to go good with her. But I was like, you don't cast Jude Law just to be one of those side characters. Like, the minute it was like, oh, it's Jude Law. Yeah, he's the bad guy. It's definitely Jude Law. That was like, as I said, a lot of nitpicks, but
It's a new Mendo.
He's the new
it's really not.
Jude Law, hashtag new Mendo.
Yeah, I just think I spent a long time waiting for Jude Law to be outed as a villain.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah. Fair enough.
While we're running around in the old negatives, I don't think mine was that massive other than just she's overpowered. And
Seems to be the general consensus from everyone that's written in.
some
as
of the
well.
jokes didn't land, but other than like, I didn't expect all of them to. But something I did like, I'll jump back into something I liked. They didn't set up a love interest for her. And
Yeah, that was good.
I thought that was good because I think they've done that with pretty much
You know what I was waiting
all
for?
of the Marvel films.
I
is
was
they've had some
waiting
sort of love
Because
interest.
she had that best friend that was a pilot. I'm like, oh, they're just going to make her gay so they can have a gay character. I'm really glad they didn't just be like, oh, we'll just make the female character a gay character so we can tick off as many minorities in this movie as possible.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was because I was waiting for them, because I was like, there isn't a love interest. And I was like, oh, they'll just make her gay. So I'm glad that, like, I'm not glad that she's not, you know what I'm saying? I'm just glad, I'm glad that they didn't just decide to tick off as many minorities as they possibly could all at once.
All right, so yeah, I mean, my cons were pretty similar to yours. I found that there was this really big disconnect between the character, like Brie Larson's character that she'd spent her whole movie kind of creating, and there was a weird disconnect between that character and then the character you see right at the end, like the Captain Marvel you see right at the end that's flying through space and like flying through spaceships and stuff like that. Like, it just didn't seem like her. Like, it felt like two separate characters. I don't know if you guys would agree with that. But
I think maybe the
as soon
change,
as she got her power,
the
she was
changing
like,
confidence,
Yeah.
and then also that being mixed with her character becoming nearly completely CGI, made it feel like a different character because
Yeah.
it ended up with a different look and a different personality immedientely.
yeah.
Like from black to like just
I mean,
straight up one to another,
Like,
one extreme to another.
It wouldn't have been hard to kind of keep that, because like she has like, you know, these kind of little one-liners that she says when she's in fights and stuff. Like, just have her, you know,
have her still do that.
Yeah, still do that. So you're like, okay, well, that's the same voice, so
Keep
it's the
some
same
of that
character.
quirkiness
Whereas,
to her.
like, it literally just looked like a swap out kind of thing. So I think that was probably my biggest negative, is just that massive disconnect. That and one of my other biggest negatives is just the final fight, the cliche that happens, because I've seen it in like a few Marvel movies now where you know, they kind of gear up for this massive end fight, and you know, the person gets shot or the person just gets pummeled at first sight or whatever. And I think
it's a joke they've already used too many times.
It's just a bit too old, I think, and
Everyone
you can kind of
would've
see it
preferred-
coming a mile away.
Yeah, everyone
know
would
how
have
I'd
preferred
fix
to have
this?
seen that. Shut up, John. Everyone would have preferred to have seen that final fight. It would have been great.
Yeah,
It was like, it
yeah.
would have been great to see them fight with no powers, even if he won and then she like defeated him afterwards, or she
Yeah.
used her powers to defeat him or whatever.
Or even,
I don't know, just another fight would have been good.
Like, she's got a self-righteous bit at the end, like where she says, like, you know, I don't need to prove anything to you. Just don't have her hit him. Just have her like turn away or something, and have like that kind of self-righteous, like, I'm better
Yeah.
than you. Like, I'm not even gonna bother.
I don't
kind
need
of
to
thing. So,
engage.
you know, that kind of stuff. Like, I've decided I can control my emotions now, which is kind of her story arc. Anyway, yeah, that was my cons. Any other negatives about the film?
I just want to add, like, this isn't so much a negative to the film, it's more a bit of a problem I now foresee with the overarching MCU.
Yes, yeah, let's get into that.
So, just quickly, because I know we're sort of running out of time. Now that we've introduced a character that is this powerful, I have two problems. One, I'll be upset if she's the one that puts down Thanos, only because I've been following Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor and the Hulk, and this lurking threat of Thanos for 10 years. It needs to be one of those four that put him down for me to get that feeling of accomplishment with those characters. The next problem is that if she is capable of putting down Thanos, then any villain we have after this that's going to challenge her, the question is going to be, well, where were they for the past 10 years? If there's someone who's bigger and better than Thanos, so that the next group of Avengers, which is going to be Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, who's also very overpowered, and then Spider-Man and Black Panther, that's the next roster for Avengers. When we get a villain that's bigger than Thanos for them, you can't help but be like, well, where was he when Thanos existed? Why was no one like, oh yeah, Galactus is here too? So that's a problem that I'm going to foresee. I don't think she's going to mix well. I think it was maybe the wrong time to try and throw her into a movie. I think right when we've got our main characters about to defeat a major villain is the wrong time to just put in a new character who's much more powerful than everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
It's gonna feel undermining.
And the problem with having her being superpowered is, why doesn't she just do everything?
Yeah,
Like,
it's the same problem with
everyone
the
else is
Superman.
insignificant.
It's the Superman sort of problem. And the thing is that she doesn't even have a kryptonite. So it's like you can't just like. I'm glad that they can't just be like, oh yeah, there's a green rock that she's afraid of all the time.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have any weaknesses, and she's presumably stronger than Thor at this point. So if she puts down Thanos, I'll be disappointed, and anything they do after Thanos is going to make Thanos feel a bit undermined, because the next roster of Avengers are just too powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's my 10 cents on how it's going to affect the MCU. I really like the character,
Yeah.
but I think they probably could have afforded... Look, she's that powerful in the comics, and that's why usually she's always off on her own, like, cosmic adventures. But I think maybe you could have dulled down her abilities for these films.
Yeah. Make her a bit more human.
Yeah.
Considering she's
What
now
you should have...
human.
I think what they could have done is that little chip in the side of her head was boosting her powers, and then when, like, instead of saying that she didn't have the powers until the chip was removed, saying that she had powers, but the Kree boosted them to turn her into a weapon, and then she removed it, and now she's not as powerful as that. So she's still got those powers, but she's not super OP, and bring her down to maybe Thor or, like Thor level powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
And stuff like that. I just think she's too powerful, and next to Doctor Strange, what could they possibly write that's going to be interesting to watch that isn't going to undermine the past 10 years?
yeah.
So, yeah. That's my 10 cents on it.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how they play it out. Speaking of, I guess, Endgame, we had our mid-credits sequence
scene. Yep.
and our post-credits sequence.
Also doesn't make sense.
Pretty standard, pretty straightforward. Like,
Yep.
it's Captain America, the Hulk, and Scarlet,
Black Widow.
Scarlett Johansson.
And
Black
Scarlett
Widow.
Johansson.
Black Widow. And they're just,
Can I say it doesn't
got
make sense?
Fury's little
cut this out.
buzzer thing, and they're just waiting, and then she rocks up, and that's it.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't
it's
make sense.
It's pretty.
It doesn't make sense in the continuity of the trailer that we've gotten. Because the trailer that we've gotten shows that it's been a good couple of months have passed since everybody has gone down since Thanos.
Yep.
Because everybody's like, they're in AA meetings talking about how they've lost people, and Hawkeye's off being a ninja assassin or something, and all of that kind of jazz. And Chris Evans has shaved his beard, but in this, she shows up and he has his beard. So that means 3 months are going to pass while she's just there, I guess.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see Shazam in the MCU as well. That's going to be interesting
Yeah,
when that comes
That's
out.
the DC film.
Shazam.
we'll-
Growing up, I was a big comic book nerd, and Shazam was my favorite character in the Avengers.
No.
He was like, he was just really cool, and he's like made me. He was very very powerful
No,
character.
wrong,
Yeah.
wrong
Like-
universe.
Definitely, yeah.
John's
for sure.
not a very big like comic book nerd, so he wouldn't.
I own most of the comics that exist.
Yeah.
I own all of them.
Can't wait to get Catwoman into
Did you say
Spider-Man as
Catwoman?
well. Catwoman.
Captain Woman.
Catwoman.
Catwoman.
All right, so that's what we thought of the film. Next week we'll be reviewing Hotel Mumbai, which is a very different film to what we reviewed
Nah, it's
today.
the same.
But
Bunch
yeah,
of terrorists go into a motel and they go superpowers.
let us know what you think of that on all of our socials. Till then, next time, remember, looks can be deceiving.
Not Shazam.
Thank you for listening to the Film Slice podcast. Make sure you hit us up on our Insta, on our Twitter, on our Facey, on our... That's about
Make
it.
sure you hit us up in our face.
That's about it. YouTube.
That's it. Hit us up on YouTube, all that jazz. See you next week.
Bye. Not Shazam.